Boy,
already dipped.
welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. Whether inside or outside the loop, we are talking everything soccer in Houston. Y'all ready? Let's get it. Houston, welcome to another episode of the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. Man, today we have a full house, so I guess might as well introduce these guys here. Obviously, you guys know Cristian Putalias. How you doing, brother?
What's good? Same guy.
Same guy, different hair color. You need to bring a different hair color in every single episode. It'd be kind of interesting.
I should, huh?
At this rate.
Make it a thing.
Yeah, we're also joined by Joey Chavala. It's been a minute, I think, Chavala, since.
What's up, guys? Yeah, it's been a minute.
Wow.
Couple weeks before Leagues Cup. That's what it was last time.
And of course, we are honored to have the presence of El Jefe, Dustin Richardson. How you doing, brother? Yeah, sorry, I don't have a introduction. Maybe we needed
intro music,
something like that. Maybe that was like the biggest part of like
fog machine.
Yeah, get you in, man. But like what's that guy's name? Presley is the guy from the Astros. He always had that Johnny Cash walkout song. I feel like that's fitting right there, dude. But how are you guys doing, man? It's been a minute. It's been a minute since we've had Dustin, Joey. How's the band going, man?
Oh, it's lovely. Lovely as always.
Dago says Christian needs a mohawk. I agree with that.
Christian does need a mohawk.
Jesus.
Yeah. But
damn. That's wild. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, he caught you off guard. But no, we have obviously there is no Houston games or Houston soccer games this weekend apart from Dynamo 2. So Dash and the first team are finally back in business this week. So Friday, we have the Dash playing at home. Dynamo will be on Saturday playing at home, and then obviously a couple days. What is it? Tomorrow, Wednesday night. Whenever you listen to this, you'll be watching Dynamo 2 getting some playing time against, who are they playing? Minnesota United 2. So it should be a good amount of soccer here in Houston because everybody's playing at home. So it's kind of fun, man. It doesn't happen that often, Dustin.
No, it's one of those rare like triple weekends. Sometimes we get like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now we got, I guess, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, which is kind of weird, but at the same time, I dig it.
Yeah, it keeps it fun. I think we were oversaturated with soccer this summer. At least it felt that way. With Copa America, with the Euros. I mean, me and Chris were talking about like Leagues Cup itself. I think it was definitely more. I enjoyed it more last season, and because there was another tournaments happening, so it was kind of fun to kind of watch a game, throughout. Not that the league itself hasn't been that great or the tournament hasn't been that great. It just I haven't really watched as many games. But what is your guys' perspective, Joey? Have you liked the tournament so far? I know it's all for the cash, man. But do you like the tournament? And this year's edition, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I like Leagues Cup for second year in a row. I think it's fun. League MX teams versus MLS teams is always good time. Doesn't matter what they're playing for. We've had a few really, really, really good games in this tournament. It's kind of more of what we liked last year.
Sure.
Watching MLS teams kick League MX teams' asses, that's been pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's 4 teams left, all MLS.
Mm-hmm.
Club America couldn't get it done, Dustin. What about on the other hand with the Summer Cup, Dustin? Brand new edition? Did you go to a game? I know that you tend to take your daughter out to watch some of those games, but Did you guys get to enjoy them on TV? What do you think about that tournament
Yeah,
as well?
we went to we went to the Pachuca game, which was the last group stage game, I think.
Mhm.
Then I was telling my friend at work, kind of jokingly, that it showed that the Dash need to join Liga MX because they won both games against those teams. So if the NWSL doesn't work out, they got a safe spot to land.
They probably travel less miles.
That's true too. Yeah.
I mean, imagine having to go to New York, then Seattle, when you can go to, I don't know, Ciudad de Mexico. It was what?
Hey, but it's not even
Right.
that. Is they have to go to New York, get their ass whooped. They have to go to Seattle, get their ass whooped. Like
That's the side part.
yeah. That's
You gotta travel loose.
yeah. At least if it's only a couple, like an hour drive, it's not that bad if you lose and come home type of thing. But yeah, overall, I think the competitions in the summer were great. Yeah, the Dash. The only team that they needed to beat destroyed them, which was Kansas City Current, and that really pretty stadium end that they have out there. And like you mentioned, Dustin, I mean, if Tigres Femenil is like the best Mexican team in that league, and the Dash beats them, it says a lot about the differences between the leagues. That's for sure. And then Leagues Cup, I mean, I think we don't have to go too far into it, being that we already know what the result is, and even the Toluca's already eliminated. Obviously, one of the teams not in the top 4 or final 4, but you could have seen the Dynamo maybe where the Colorado Rapids are, possibly. What do you guys think?
Definitely.
Could
Definitely,
they beat Club America?
Yeah. We beat the Rapids twice this year.
You start seeing it, how this tournament it helps a lot of the teams kind of get in good rhythm. And Dustin, I think that's kind of what you're seeing with Colorado, man. They're just getting in that rhythm with some of the players they brought in. They spent a lot of money, and they sold Bombito as well. So I mean, that's a lot for what they're doing down there, man.
Yeah, they're riding kind of a hot streak with Zach Steffen too. He's being the Zach Steffen that I think people thought he was going to be a long time ago when he was first in MLS. Then he went to Manchester City, but he's been really good for them. And Bombito, a big sale for them, so they can't really do anything with it now because the transfer window is closed. But it'll be interesting to see how they're kind of shaping that team under Armas, kind of the old Red Bull style of play that Armas is used to, and now they're beginning to be really successful. So it's an interesting for them because it's kind of putting them in kind of into the push for what everyone's looking for, playoffs, and then going towards MLS Cup.
I guess let's go ahead and start with the Dash. We'll try to hit everybody. Houston Dash, Dynamo, and Dynamo 2. Just start with Houston Dash. Obviously, they've been in the longest hiatus since being eliminated from the Summer Cup. They have no coach. I mean, we've beat this horse to death, I feel like. We have no clue what's happening with Fernando Alonso. You made a good point seeing that there is going to be a presser, and Ricky Clark is already, the man to be interviewed, I suppose, for that presser. We haven't gotten your thoughts, Dustin, of just kind of this whole situation. So I would just like to see kind of your perspective on what's happening with the Dash. And
is he dead?
Well, yeah, and obviously Alex Signer gone, a bunch of stuff like that happening, man.
Yeah, it's been a weird year. Like, once again, like it's if I don't know if you guys have seen that meme with like the kid screaming in the back of the car when it's like, why can't you just be normal? And it's like that's like the dad sometimes. It's like, why can't you just be normal? Like, just have a normal year. But yeah, Alex Singer, I think, was we talked about it a little bit in our chat, but her signings have been not great, to say the least. Maria Sanchez's extension and then immediately wanting to get traded. she's signed a bunch of older players, decent players, but like if you're in a rebuild, like you're Ramona Bachman, Ellen Rubinson, and Dressa, like you're bringing in a bunch of these veteran type players that you would expect, like a team that's competing for trophies to like kind of shore themselves up with these type veterans. But the Dash are in this rebuild, and it's been one of those rebuilds that's not really like a full rebuild. Like they haven't really, torn all the walls down to the foundation. They might be at that right now, like you said, because they don't have a coach, they don't have a GM, and it's kind of just it's hard to say, like, because you don't know what's going on with Fran, right? So it's one of those, like, it's hard to say what they're gonna do because, like, is Fran coming back? Like, part of me is like, just whatever's happening with Fran, just come out and be like, Fran's the coach next year. Fran's the coach going forward, which they've kind of said, right? Like when he comes back, Fran will be back, and they kind of have hinted at that. But at the same time, like, it's been what, a month and a half, 2 months since we've even heard from Fran. Yeah, since he had the illness, and then he was just gone for one game, and that's turned into 2 months. So it's I don't know. It's hard to see. It's hard to see positives right now with them, just because foundationally you don't know what they're doing, right? Like, you have a hodgepodge of a roster. You have an assistant coach who's in charge, and you have no GM, but you have a technical director who I don't really know what he does, to be honest. We know what Asher does, for the Dynamo. He's very vocal and stuff on social media, which he was today. If you saw him talking about X on Arzu, which we'll, I'm sure, talk about. But Pablo Piñones Arce, who is their technical director, he's kind of a very behind-the-scenes guy, which is fine. But it is, again, another kind of one of those blankets of uncertainty around this team, which seems to be kind of their MO.
Yeah, it's just a little everything's so weird. Everything's just so weird with the Dash. It's, like you said, it seems like there's just no normality at all. Like, every season you feel like, oh, okay, they got rid of a coach. Now they bring somebody else. It looks like everything's going to be great. And then somehow, and I mean, I didn't even look back, but I have a feeling that if you look back the last 4 years, there's been an interim coach. And that's not good. Whenever you have somebody just kind of come in and try to do the job, I don't know. I don't want to say half-assed by any means. I feel like they do really try, but at the end of the day, you don't know if you're in, or if you don't know if you're out. Sometimes that's the way it goes. And with the Dash, it's just been such a weird project, man. I have no clue what's happening. And you just keep hoping that they get it right, especially, like for the fans' sake, right? A lot of people do go to the Dash games. A lot of people enjoy following that team. And the great thing is, a lot of those people are very diehard. So it doesn't matter if they're doing not that great. People are still going to show up to those games. But as somebody like myself that is trying to get into following them more often in that aspect, it makes it very difficult, man. Very difficult for sure, Joey. But Joey, I mean, Dustin mentioned a little bit of that, right? A ton of players came in and they haven't done much, man. And then you see Fran Alonso left, Ramona's gone and vacation at home, whatever the case may be. It's just so weird, man.
I mean, if you look at like all like the top sports leagues in America right now, is there one that's a bigger joke than the Dash right now? And they don't have a GM, they don't have a coach.
The Jets are doing a better job.
The Jets are doing it better. That's right. That's when you know things are on the shit. It's like, come on. What's going on? They lose every game. They don't even have a coach or GM. Half the players look like they don't want to be there. Half the players are closer to retirement than being part of a rebuild. Nothing makes sense. The whole thing just needs to be blown up. The entire thing. Front to bottom.
Just thinking of the fact, and we kind of pointed this out, Dustin, on the last 2 games or 3 games, how they were changing the captain of the team. I think Ordonez wore it one game. Then I think who was the other one that wore it? Was it Jacobs? Jacobs wore it different. Like there was just no
Jacob's
like they're
voice,
just
yeah.
they're just throwing like crap at the wall, see what sticks. And it's just you see them. Yes, they're in 12th place. They have 14 points. It's a doable to make it into the playoffs. Yeah, but I named this episode the final stretch because that's what's happening here. You know, like this is it. You think that they'll make the playoffs, Dustin? Do you think that? You know, I mean, they're only 4 points
I
away.
think
You know, like
Everybody's
know-
laughing.
yeah, we're all laughing because we already know.
I was looking at the standings the other day, right, and looking at kind of where they stood in the standings and the teams ahead of them. And if you look at like this year, it's 8 out of 14 teams, I think, that make the
Mhm.
playoffs, which is MLS, very MLS-like of them. But if you look at who's in 8th place right now, Bay FC has played 16 games. They've lost 10 of them, and they might be in the playoffs. Like right now, they would make the playoffs. So it's like it doesn't take a lot, is what I'm trying to say, to get
Yeah.
to the playoffs, right? It feels like
Oh,
if
yeah.
you can win 4 or 5 games and just kind of string together any type of results, you would make it. But at the same time, can this team string together 4 or 5 wins?
Mhm.
Sad.
Look
I mean,
at
we haven't
Racing.
seen- we ha-
Racing Louisville have won 3 games and they're 2 points out the playoffs.
It's crazy.
That's wild.
That's insane.
Yeah,
Who's
it's
putting
insane.
together this
It's-
league?
it's a
And then you have 2 teams that haven't lost. Well, take that back. Kansas City Current lost to Orlando Pride, but I mean, they were both of them undefeated pretty much the whole season. So it's
and look
just
who's coming to
incredible.
town Friday.
And yeah, exactly. And I think the biggest question is just where the hell are the transfers? You know, where is the roster movement? I mean, you can see that what you have is not that great. And there's, if I'm not mistaken, 10 days till the transfer
August.
window closes.
But what's the
right?
point, though? Why even bring in signings? What's the point? They don't have a coach. You don't have a GM. You don't have a vision.
Yeah.
Are you gonna make some signings
What
to maybe
system are you even
squeak
playing?
together an extra
You're
3
right.
wins at the end of the season, make the playoffs, and get our ass kicked by Orlando? Like, what's the
So
point?
how many games are left this season? Is it 24 games they play? Is that sound right?
They play everyone twice, so 26.
26 games. So, well, yeah, I guess because
Two,
last season
four,
was
six,
22. So,
They
yeah.
have 10 games left. Is that what you asked?
So they
me?
got
I don't
10
know.
games left.
Yeah.
You 10 games is a lot, guys. Come on, that's 30 points, right? That you're playing, that you're still able to.
They just got to win like 2.
And I don't think the Dash get even 10 of those 30.
Damn.
This is
They
ridiculous.
have to play
I mean,
Orlando twice.
if you're a fan of this team, I mean, they already exploded, you know, whatever this season is. Call it another rebuild. Has to hurt when there's 10 games left, right? This is not like, hey, you know, there's 3 games. We're just going to play the bench, play the third strings. Do you still have to play 10 games and act like you're, you know, win some of these games? Which
How do you even get motivated to play 10 games? You don't even know where the coach is. Do the players know where the coach is? Who knows?
I mean, from what
I
all
hope
we've
they
seen,
do.
That's what.
it,
Yeah,
yeah, I was like, from all we've seen, at least it looks like Ricky Clark. It's, you know, involved, and they like him, and he won 2 games. I mean, those 2 games against Liga MX could be the turning point of the season. Could be.
Can those points count towards the regular league or no? Make something happen there?
They would love to add those for sure.
You got no contacts?
It's
Make
just
something
incredible.
work?
I think just again, just looking at the team, and I mean, Dustin, for you,
I just think that's a bunch of crap, though. Like, I don't know. The League MX teams are clearly just nowhere near as good as the NWSL teams. Like, I don't know. Like,
NWSL is the best league in the world. Like
last
comparing the
season
two is
in
kind of
like
crazy.
England,
right?
if Sheffield beat Wrexham in the FA Cup halfway through the season, when they go, that's the turning point in the year. Like, it doesn't work like that. You beat crap teams. You're still crap.
I agree. And I'm just throwing out here. You guys, I'm not the hater of the Dash. I'm sure everybody listens to the podcast probably feels that way. But we're looking at reality, looking at what's given it to us. And how can, like you said, if the players can be optimistic and and see something, how can the fans do the same thing, man? It's difficult. And obviously it all starts with a lot of the things that maybe the bad business that Alex Singer did. Obviously it looked like she threw a lot of money at like players like Maria Sanchez, and clearly none of them are here. So it tells you how much that worked out. So pretty incredible stuff, man.
The female Matt Jordan.
Yeah. I think Matt Jordan did better because
I would agree. Matt Jordan did do better.
Damn.
Matt Jordan got a trophy.
Matt Jordan got a US Open Cup. They got Manotas and Elise.
It's bad
Kyoto.
when Matt Jordan
Philip Senderos, man,
is above you.
Arsenal
That's
legend.
That's right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so again, the Dash will be playing Orlando Pride Friday at 7 p.m.
Undefeated Orlando Pride.
Shell Energy Stadium. Yep, it's gonna be fun,
That's wild.
man.
Now, if they beat Orlando, I'll call it a turning point.
I want to go to that game.
They don't call it a turning point. They have to be.
Come see Marta.
All right, what's the score line here then? Let's end it with that. What are you guys thinking?
Oh, damn. 3-1 loss.
3-0, 3-1.
At least they score.
Yeah, I think they score.
Dustin doesn't think they score.
Barb bangs one in.
Unless oh wait, no, Dustin thinks
3-0.
they're gonna win 3-0. I got it. Got it. No, yeah, I don't expect a win. It's gonna be very difficult to beat a team like Orlando Pride that is just a whole different atmosphere currently, man. But yeah, I mean, there's so many questions. When is the presser with Ricky Clark? Is that Wednesday or Thursday? Dustin?
Tomorrow.
Was it Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday.
Okay. Mañana. So you keep an eye out on the YouTube page for that presser.
Yes, and guess what? You can find it at BayouCitySoccer.net. You can go to the website, check everything that's going on over there. Tomorrow I'm off, so I'll be working on also the Tuesdays and the Wednesdays. So I've been slacking the last 2 days. I haven't been home. Almost got divorced, but it's okay. The Astros won. I almost lost my voice because my friends took me to a bar and it was like very loud and I had to yell to talk to them. But yeah, Bayou City. I'm falling asleep. BayouCitySoccer.com. No, BayouCitySoccer.net. You can go check it out. Check out the YouTube channel, the Instagram, the Facebook, the YouTube, the X page. Man, everything. Honestly, and then the articles have been great, so go check those out. Honestly,
the articles.
Really good bangers. One from Rudy, one from Dustin. Those were great. Honestly, talking about two quote unquote key pieces, right? So go check those out, and then leave us your thoughts. That's the whole point, right? To create dialogue, and to just put some facts out there. And then you take them as you want them. Obviously, facts are facts. But yeah,
numbers don't lie. Dustin will tell you, and he will probably tell us again today.
And he will show you the spreadsheet.
Before we go into that giant spreadsheet and Excel formulas, let's just talk a little about Houston Dynamo 2, man. Houston Dynamo 2 goes up to Dallas, gets destroyed 4-1. There is a red card. It was a Diego, right? Got red carded, I believe.
It's a great question.
Diego Gonzalez got a second yellow card. I didn't watch it either, which is kind of sad. This tends to be a good game. Clearly, it was if you got 5 goals. Clearly, it wasn't all that great. If you're Kenny Bundy, I'm sure you weren't happy. But the game was already a 3-1 when Diego gets a second yellow card and gets red carded, and then of course North Texas comes in and gets a goal in the 90 plus 4 minutes. Sounds very Dynamo-ish, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. I feel like I've seen those, goals in added time, man. But right now it looks like the team is just like in an up and down. I mean, they had a really good stretch of being unbeaten, and then lately, since they were 5 games and they lost against Colorado, they tied against St. Louis City, and then they lost against North Texas. Man, just an up and down team. But let's not necessarily, take too much time to talk necessarily about them. But I think this is a good segue to talk about the players like Arsu that you mentioned earlier, Dustin getting signed. And we still haven't heard anything about that young Colombian winger, Biojota? I can't remember now.
Bitoja?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So
Pantoja.
No, it wasn't Pantoja. It was with a
No, it's Pantoja because his last name is the last name of my wife's best friend. So it is Pantoja.
You're lying. But anyways, yeah.
Why would I lie?
No, not about your wife's what's it called? Last
Her
name.
best
But
friend,
I don't
yeah.
think that's his name. But
It is. I saw
Andy Batioja.
Batioja.
Oh, but see, I was close.
Right. So
I
yeah,
guess they're
what's
not
your
related.
thoughts on that, Dustin and Joey? I guess whoever wants to get started, just your thoughts on seeing yet another Dynamo 2 guy get signed. And, dude, okay, first of all, I saw 2029 and I freaked out. You know that he has a contract option all the way to 2029, and I'm like, holy shit! Time is flying by, man. So, anyways,
That is a long time, though.
It is a while. Yeah, 5 years? Yeah, it's 5 years. Man, that's like when I'm playing Football Manager. I'm like a year or two into it, and I see like 2031 contracts. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
oh no, Dustin is gone.
Oh, no,
He'll
Dustin.
be back. He'll be back.
He'll be back. Yeah. All right. So talking about Exxon, it's good for him. I think he showed out the first bunch of games before he got hurt. He looked explosive. He looked lively. Scored some goals. I think he brings exactly what the team is looking for in that left wing position. He's going to have some fierce competition next year. He's going to have Anali, Aliu, and Nelson Canones in front of him in that position. So I'm sure he'll probably put the second team another year or two.
He was a little bit more versatile, correct? Like
he could play
played on the
striker
right
as well.
wing, and he's played also on the right, I believe.
But he wouldn't play right wing in the Dynamo system. It wouldn't really work.
You don't think he? Well, no, yeah,
because the right wing in Ben's system is more of like an attacking midfielder.
We know, that. I would love to see two really strong guys playing on each wing, but
they do have a strong right wing. It's Dorsey.
Yeah, I was about to say the love affair with Griffin Dorsey.
Yeah, stick him at right back. Let's try it. Stick Aliu at right back.
He does it all.
He could defend.
But unfortunately for him, it looks like he had a bad injury. He's out for the season.
He's out for the season, is he?
Arsu is.
It doesn't sound like he's out for the season.
I think he's.
Because Asher said that he'll likely not see first team minutes.
Said it was gonna.
He didn't say out for the season though. He just
he
first
said
team minutes.
Yeah,
correct.
So he might slowly come back.
Yeah, from what I gathered from that, he'll probably come back late in the season and play for the second team.
Okay, that'd be good just to see him back. I mean, that dude is fast. I don't know who would literally, if you look at all the players in both of the teams, it's either him or Lawrence and Nolly as the fastest guys. Man, this guy has some good acceleration for sure, man.
Good bit of GMing as well to put him as a U22 spot for the rest of the season to fill in that spot for Nelson. That'll save him a lot of allocation money this season. So that's good. That's good on Pat. But yeah, I think he's going to have a hard time getting into the team. He's got 3 other U22 initiative players in front of him in his position. And then at the striker position, he's got 2 DPs in front of him. So that's tough.
I guess going into that conversation, would it be likely that the Dynamo sells one of those 3?
I think
Quiñones,
trade him. They're going to trade him to Manchester City. All right, that's a joke.
I think Ali will probably command the big price tag this winter. That'll probably be a thing.
It'll be cool. Sorry, it'll be cool to see the Dynamo
get 3 or 4 million for him.
That'd be nice.
I mean, I'm sure Nelson Canones could have some interest as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they'd be interested in him going back to
coming off a major injury, though.
Yeah, that's true. They'll get a discount on the price for him. But yeah, they kind of have to sell one of them, really. I mean, what are you going to do? Are you going to have 3 U22 spots in the same position?
It's pretty crazy, especially when you don't like that right wing position.
I mean, and Aliu's the best one by a mile right now, but he probably has the biggest ceiling that a big team would want.
I love it. I love every time that there's something that Chris doesn't like. Just watch his face, guys. Just watch his face.
All right.
He makes the funniest faces. But no, I agree with you. It puts it in an interesting bind. And you talked about articles. We did touch a little bit. I wrote that article about analogy since they were the ones present right now. I think it's a great dynamic. It was. I know that if you look at it, and the fans are gonna see both of the players, and for whatever reason, the polls that we make, everybody wants to sell Aliu. Like it's not even, any other form
It's
other
absurd.
than getting rid of him and keeping, a lot of it was starting Nolly, bench Quinones, and vice versa. Which is
insanity.
It's pretty crazy. And we've talked about this. So Dustin, you get the floor. Don't
Quinones has one leg.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can just explain the reasons of those three, man.
Say your piece.
Yeah, sorry. My connection's being weird, so I'm lagging on you guys, but that's all right. Yeah, I'm with Joey on this. Aliu is one of those guys that he's if you ask most Dynamo fans, they're gonna be like, he's crap. But to me, and I'm not saying I'm smarter than anyone, but he's been fantastic this season. He's one of the best players in the league as far as getting forward. He's I think 5th in MLS in progressive passes received, which is a stat I know Christian loves. And he does the defensive work that Ben wants. He's one of those players that he's maybe not sexy by himself, but as a part of the whole, he makes the Dynamo what they are. Him, see, Arthur's not sexy, but he makes them do what they do. He frees up Hector, he frees up Coco.
Sexy, he is
true. He is.
I've seen him up close.
I'm sorry, Arthur. Next time I see you in the locker room, I'll apologize. But no, it's just I'm kind of a Joey. I feel like Aliu is one of those guys that the analytics, the nerds like Joey and I that run soccer teams in Europe are going to be kind of fawning over in the next transfer window. This is the kind of guy that you could stick into our super nerdy system and he's going to be good. And if that fetches the Dynamo $3-4 million, then heck, go for it.
He reminds me of Simon Adingra. Is that what his name is? At Brighton. That's who he reminds me of.
I will say that last season
if you watch Brighton.
in Aliu's first season, I was not a big fan because obviously he was playing as a striker, right? A lot of the time we were seeing him as a striker, and his confidence in front of goal was just not there. He'll miss the easy opportunities, and to this day I remember 6 inches away from goal, bro. You gotta finish those. But now in the role that he's in, he definitely looks like he plays definitely more comfortable on that wing. He's fast. He uses the breakaway speed to get all the way to the touchline and tries to look for someone that is in the box. He's not necessarily gonna cut in and get all this fancy step overs and all the flashy moves that a lot of people enjoy on the wing. But you guys are right. I've grown to really enjoy watching Aliu. He does everything very well. Attacking wise, he does a lot of things very well. Defensively, he's able to sacrifice his body, his fitness to get that ball back into what Ben Olsen loves to be a possession based tactical approach, I suppose.
He also leads the team in goals. And he's second in assists.
And so we talked about that when it was last episode.
Enough, Dustin.
Because we were talking about the whole, some stats don't match up. And I was like, well, I'm going to drop the mic here. He is the scorer of the team. He leads it with 6 goals and has 4 assists. So, he's there. He's working, man. But we understand that it's not sexy, Christian. So you would be the ones selling our boy Aliu out of Houston and
Well, hey,
giving him
not
a right
only-
to the airport
not
as well.
not only me. So I just want to say that the people back me up. So hey, I'm not alone in this. And when we put out the poll, I don't think a lot of people have heard it, like heard the episode. So it's not that they were like being, I don't know, they were like, getting on my side or your side or whatever it may be. I mean, obviously we don't know how other people see the game. I know how I see the game and or the players that I like, and he's not one that I like. And everybody, I guess, is entitled to their opinions. Obviously, the numbers are going to tell you that he is needed in that position,
Right?
and that's completely fine. I mean, as long as he, at the end of the day, right? I just want to win. It's one of those things that I don't care how flashy the team is. It's like get the result and move on, type thing. So, but if I had a choice, I would pick somebody else. But if he's gonna get the job done, then get it done. And I just feel like he frustrates me so much, and I'm like I feel like maybe he could be doing a lot more than what he does.
Yeah,
maybe.
I see what you mean. I see your point, but I think kind of like Joey mentions, it's a part of like the system that they're playing in, right, Dustin?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is gonna maybe make Christian mad, but he kind of reminds me of Garnacho sometimes as a Manchester United fan because he's like really fast and he runs and then he just kind of runs into people sometimes. And Garnacho does that a lot. He just kind of like he dribbles and he dribbles and then he tries to like cut into the box and he just like runs into a defender and you're like, what are you doing? But you can like see the talent. Obviously, Ali is not on Garnacho's level, not quite yet. Joey and I love him, but he's not quite Manchester United level.
Yeah, he's not quite that good.
Which is the top of the top.
Yeah, it's the top.
But
the top of the middle top.
They beat the almighty Fulham this week. They're the best.
Yes. 1-0 to over Fulham. Okay, the rebound is coming. But yeah, it's
up that count on Friday, man.
He's definitely a frustrating player.
I mean, that last play for Garnacho kind of said it all, right? Like he's going to like choke the kid out. Like, what are you doing?
But I think what's important with Aliu and whoever's on the wing, right? I think we've seen a lot of Inali, and I think the way that Ben is using them, I think is the right way to use them so far. You hope that the connection between whoever again is on the wing and Ponce, starts incrementing, right? That chemistry, and they get a couple more goals. And I think that would be really the solution that everybody is looking for. That's what they obviously brought those two guys in. So whoever's able to link up with Ponce and get some goals, I think that you look at overall, how the Dynamo are doing. And I think, Dustin, you probably send that XG or possession base. I can't remember, but the Dynamo are up there, but they just don't have enough goals in comparison to some of the other guys like LA Galaxy and so on.
Yeah,
Columbus.
That's Columbus, right? That was.
But
first.
then Columbus has
Columbus,
like
first in
a
every
top
metric ever.
Yeah, like the top 3 of Columbus is incredible. Like I don't know why we got rid of Christian Ramirez. I enjoy Christian.
I enjoyed him.
And,
Tom Ramos did not like him.
And
so
look at him now. He's thriving with Cucho and Rossi and.
Yeah, I hope he'd be thriving in that team.
He
Right,
went to Europe though too.
Everyone in that team thrives.
He went to Aberdeen. He
Tony
Superman became a super sub.
Yeah,
McNamara. My wife hates McNamara with a passion.
That's Pat Messi, man.
Why, man? Don't ask me why, but every time she sees McNamara, she's like, "I hate that guy." I'm like, that guy's so nice. But
dude, I love Tony Mac.
Yeah,
Dude, he's got more supporter shields than your wife, bro.
That's true. I guess I should marry McNamara.
All right, so we're talking about guys we don't like. Let's talk a little bit about a guy that he's been busting lately, especially with Dustin's article. And
Wait. Before we get to that,
oh man,
one, because I feel like we're gonna go along with that one. But
okay.
I just want to take maybe 2 minutes to talk about how good Ponce is, and because I feel like we haven't seen a lot of goals. Obviously, he just started, but I feel like the flashes that we've seen from him. I mean, especially that goal, right? That he did score. It kind of shows the quality of. I mean, $10 million. You expect it, right?
They're better.
I just want to hear your guys' thoughts and on the radio waves, because we've been talking about it ourselves, but it seems like some people don't see it, but it's like, bro, he's good. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's very good. He is very, very good.
And he's been kind of coming together to the team pretty quick in a way.
Yeah, go for it, Dustin.
Yeah. Sorry if I'm cutting you guys off because I'm lagging or something weird
good,
on
man.
my end. But he's one of those guys that you can just see his makeup is insane. First off, he presses I haven't seen forwards press like he does, honestly, in a long time. He presses like crazy. He's right there on the ball every time it's anywhere on the back line.
Probably Firmino,
and then just his intelligence, the runs he makes, the run he made, on that goal was crazy. He just, and the touches that he made to free himself, and then he just thumps it left-footed into the top of the net. That play alone, you're like, okay, I'll give you $10 million for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you just needed to play with Matias Almeida 1 year. That's all he needed, man. It's just that, suppress it into a tiny little summer camp. And he was like, holy smokes, man. I'm in the best shape of my life. Thank you, Matias Almeida. Thank you so much. It's going to be very grateful for that opportunity. Because that without Matias Almeida, everybody's going to be in shape, man. Doesn't matter. He expects the goalie to run, as much as probably the attackers at this point, man. But in all seriousness, no, I agree with you, man. And Joey, whatever you want to add on when you've seen a Ponce as well, man.
Just more of what Dustin says. The pressing has been incredible. I mean, I think you just see it straight away. Look, watch that first half against Vancouver, and that was probably the best. Was it Vancouver?
Yeah, turf.
Yeah,
everybody was
last
scared.
team is a debut. His debut is Vancouver.
Vancouver, yep.
Yeah, I think that's the best half of soccer the team has played this entire season.
Yep.
And a lot of it came from what Ponce was doing off the ball. I mean, Ben really perfected the pressing system against that kind of weird back line that Vancouver runs, that three at the back type of thing they do in possession, where the wing backs pretty much both become wingers like Dorsey does for the Dynamo. And yeah, Ponce was covering two guys in that off-ball system to perfection. And then once Ali and Bassi pushed up, it was creating a 4v3 off the ball. And Vancouver couldn't do anything. They couldn't play out of the back. They were just suffocating, and the Dynamo just absolutely crushed them in the half. And we saw a little more of the same of that in Leagues Cup as well, and it's going to continue. When you have a forwards that can press like Aliou, Bassi, and Ponce does, and even throw Coco and Blessing in the mix as well, the teams are going to have a very hard time building possession against the Dynamo, and that's going to create so many opportunities offensively.
Yeah, you're right. It's pretty incredible. Like I said, I think what's going to be, and if the Dynamo really want to have that push for the playoffs, which obviously currently they're still there, and they can make the playoffs. They're in a playoff spot. But if they make the playoffs and they want to make a run, that's, Ponce is going to be the key. Ponce and, the wingers being around him. And, of course, the one little man, the magician from Morocco himself, Bassi, right? As some people maybe see him as the oddball out, and some of his numbers seem fantastic. And I know that me and Dustin had a long discussion in our group chat about Bassi, and there's definitely no other ones there by any means, but I think we're all on the same page. The guy is very brilliant. The idea here is that for I guess specifically for me, and probably Christian feels the same way. Sometimes there's what you would see a wide open opportunity or a run or whatever, and that's when he frustrates a lot of people. But whenever you look at everything that he does, I mean, the guy is very, very good, very, very good, Dustin. So go ahead, man. Tell us, teach us, well, why is Bossy such a great
I'm gonna
player?
take over now.
Hey, you know what? Actually, what we should have done, Dustin.
So first
Wait,
off,
Dustin. I know you're lagging a little bit,
Yeah.
but before we should have brought you the back the whiteboard, like what's his name, Bielsa, and just start explaining and be like, "This is why we do this." Yeah,
They're right there. Look, the screen is set. We just
Yeah,
gotta
look.
put the board. We
yeah,
need a
but-
sponsor,
so
guys.
first
we
thing
can
I
go
want
out
to
and get
say
our screen.
is that
Mhm.
whoever calls Bossy below average player is insane. I love all of our readers, but if you watch this man play professional soccer and say that he's a below average soccer player, I honestly don't even know how to respond to you. Okay, that's first off. Second off, if you look at his numbers, he is one of the best midfielders in MLS this season. Now, he's not going to win MVP, and I know some people took umbrage to that, like, oh, you just if you're saying Bossy's an MVP, you're an idiot or something, keeping tabs, because he has great takes all the time too. But you can't like just say that this guy is like not that great or he's not a good player, right? If you look at the numbers that I put in the article, he's 99th percentile in like literally every passing stat. He's top 8, I think, in shot creating actions in MLS. If you look at his football reference page, the players that are similar to him, as far as his statistical profile for this season, similar players to him for this season: Thiago Almada, Hani Mukhtar, Albert Rusnak, Insigne, Diego Rossi. Like, he's playing like at the level of some of the very best players in MLS. Like, whatever you might think that you see in Bossy, I understand, and it's not. Joey's sending over messages that I'm reading as I'm talking, but
hilarious, yeah.
it's just like he's not going to win MVP. Let me just say that. And whoever thought that I was saying he was going to win MVP, sorry, I didn't mean he's going to win MVP. He's got 2 goals. Like, no one is winning MVP with 2 goals, right? Unless you're Messi and you have like 40 assists, maybe. But yeah, you can't downplay how good this guy's been this season. And I know Joey agrees with me because we've had these discussions, but when you look at the elite number 10s in the league, you're never going to say Bossy, right? But he's up there this season.
Right.
I think it's interesting. You look on Football Reference, you go on Bossy's scattering report. His similar players this season are Lorenzo Insigne, Ricky Puig, Albert Rusnak, Diego Rossi, Hani Mukhtar, Carlos Gil, Georgi Mihailovic, Santi Rodriguez, Thiago Almada, and Mateusz Bogus. All 10 of those names are very high-level designated players in MLS, while Bossy is making about $600,000 as a TAM player.
Damn.
It's crazy.
We need a new contract for this kid.
He's gonna ask for one. He's gonna ask for a big one, so he's gonna have to produce a little more.
he's gonna show this podcast.
he's gonna show him
He's gonna send
the
him the
article. He's gonna be like, have you all seen those numbers?
That's funny.
He's printing out my article.
Yeah. No, hey, but I think the idea too that whenever we're talking about this, Dustin, and you said, I mean, it was a good ballot, obviously a great point, saying the ones that the fans see, of Bossy not seeing, or using his vision or hitting the pass when everybody can see it per se. Obviously, that's only the ones that we can see visually because of the space is so big. And Joey, you made that same point. Mm-hmm. Obviously, this guy's hitting, threading the needle and finding passes that are still, progressive passes, I guess, at this point. going up the field, and some people cannot see that. But my question now is, if we would talk to what's the guy's name? Is it Carlton, the guy from the Dynamo? Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder how they see those numbers. Like,
Yeah, Carlin Carpenter.
Yeah,
Hit us up, Carlin.
Yep. I would love to be able to talk to him and see, kind of have the same conversation and see, what exactly do they see with those numbers as well. And
sure, he loves those numbers.
No, I'm not saying that they're not bad numbers, but I wonder if they're like, hey, yeah, it would be, I think, a great discussion to have, because you guys are right. I mean, those are MVP type of numbers, Dustin.
But what, like, my question, like, to people that like are kind of debating this, right? Like, is like, what else can Bossy do? He's like literally the top of all the passing numbers, and that's including all of the leagues around the world. And he's like one of the best shot creators. And having Hector obviously helps, which I didn't really mention a lot in the article, but playing with Hector and
playing with Arthur, honestly.
Having Hector be as an amazing creator as he is, I think helps open up some things for Bossy too, because when teams play the Dynamo, they know Hector Herrera, obviously, right? And they're gonna like try to key to stop Hector, so that definitely helps. But in Bossy's defense, or in the negative side for the column, Bossy hasn't had, he's played with Gabe Siegel and Kowalczyk as a false 9 and Aliu as a false 9 and Sebas being hurt every other game. And now he has Ponce. So, the possibility that he gets even better than what he's been doing this season, I mean, it could be.
That is crazy. Yeah.
And I didn't want to say anything because obviously it was going to start this whole Bossy thing, but you mentioned the great goal that Ponce scored. Who sets them up? Bossy obviously finds some.
Another important thing to note with him being Bossy too, when you look at his numbers, his defensive numbers are pretty damn good as well. I mean, of course, when you go on Football Reference, it's not that they're going to all be in like the red on the thing because of his position, because they have him listed as attacking midfielder winger. But when you look at the off-ball shape of the Dynamo, he goes up into a striker position. He presses high up, and his numbers are very similar to Sebastian Kowalczyk, who has some of the best defensive stats under forwards in MLS. So, I mean, in the pressing department, Bossy's analytically has been very good as well.
I think we won Rudy over. Rudy, say it.
I've never said. Okay, first of all, every time I said Bossy sucks, you guys know I'm joking. Like, I just love to say Bossy sucks because he does suck. He needs more penalties, man. He needs more goals. But that's if you take it to the stats that matter, goals and assists, right, are the ones that are gonna make a difference. But I mean, the guy has game, man. We can't really deny that. That's for sure. But I mean, he would love to have. How many penalties have the Dynamo have this season? Not many.
Not many at all. I think they have the least in the league.
I think they've had maybe 2, and I think Ferreira will score one of those. Yeah, because he had just gotten back from injury.
The hat-trick game, he scored one.
Yeah. Hat-trick, Sebas.
Yeah,
so Dorsey took one early in the year. Was that in the Champions Cup? I think it might have been the Champions Cup.
That was against Columbus.
Yeah, that was Champions Cup. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it's just because Bossy was injured right in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of incredible whenever they went through 10 penalties last year. Probably
the Dynamo
more.
are 2 for 3 in penalties this year.
2 for 3. That's nothing.
No.
And
well, there's no forward to foul inside the box.
Yeah, that's true. Dorsey, I think, wasn't it?
No, Dorsey scored his.
Dorsey scored.
Was it Herrera
that did accounting? No, that's not. That wouldn't be that type of penalty.
I don't know. What else did they have a penalty?
I don't know. That's a good question.
That's a good question.
I really don't remember.
I'm trying to think.
Dorsey have there? Did Bossy miss one?
Great question. Anybody watching? Never mind.
I don't know. It's not showing them. It's not showing on here.
Interesting. Well,
We'll find it. We'll find it later for sure.
but yeah, it's just kind of interesting the dynamics that we've seen from last year to this year, because everything the Dynamo were scoring last year was penalties, and now the goals are still down. There's really not that many penalties, but same thing on the conceding aspect of it. It's not like they're taking a ton of goals still, right? I mean, defensively,
the Dynamo have only taken one penalty in MLS this year.
also just one penalty.
It's just one. Yeah,
Yes,
they have the
I was
least amount in the
looking
league.
against
It's
them.
just one, and it was against.
So that was Ferreira.
Ferreira's penalty. Yeah.
So not a lot, man. I mean, again, I think if Bassi had all this great stats plus the goals and assists, you would have to make a case for him being, one of the best players for sure. He still has time. I don't know how many games. There's 10 games left.
For sure.
So he still has time, and I mean, he can link up with Ponce and score a few goals and assists himself. I mean, why not? And you play 4 out of your next 5 games, you're playing at home.
Bro, those are hard. There's hard 10 games though.
Oh, for sure. No
teams.
game is going to be easy.
Oof.
But, you have to take advantage. I mean, Toronto has been ups and downs. You have to
weird
play
team
them
this
this
year.
weekend. Then you go to LAFC. Then you come back to LAFC, Real Salt Lake, Vancouver. I mean, yeah, there's really no easy game there for sure. So we've been almost about an hour. Let's just end with the Toronto match.
Damn, I had another question.
Oh, go for it.
Go ahead, Chris.
No, no, because the one that popped up to my mind was back-to-back scoring freaking Mikel, and I'm sure he's being looked at, and just to kind of get y'all's perspective, he's young. He's a young guy, right? He's scoring goals. He defends pretty well. He'll have the frequent, not frequent, but the mess up here and there, but he's pretty solid. Do we see him, making his way out at the end of the season? And when that happens, if it happens, do you bring somebody in to kind of replace him, or do you look in to like Bartlow or I don't know, somebody else to kind of replace that spot?
Well, I think you're going to run into Sviatchenko as well. I think he's in contract year, if I'm not mistaken, Joey.
This year?
Yeah. I think he has an option for next year. I think he has an option.
When does Bassi's contract end? Because that boy need a check. And also, if Bassi gets a check because of this conversation, we need him to donate a few bucks to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast or Bayou City Soccer Network.
An option.
Okay, yeah. So Sviatchenko has an option. So he's that. You're asking about Mikael.
Bassi has 3 more option years.
3 more option years. So he's probably going to be here. Barlow obviously signed an extension at the end of last year, I think. So you're good. But yeah,
I don't think Mikael's going anywhere.
Yeah, I think Mikael stays. I think Joey had mentioned this before, and Joey, I'm assuming you probably stay in the stand of like, where is he going to go?
Yeah,
going to Europe is not like it's going to open up a position for him to play with the Brazilian national team, for God's sakes.
Yeah. I don't know. There are teams teams in Europe don't like paying as much of a transfer fee as he'll require for a young center back that's not going to come in and make them better right away. He needs to get better to be good enough to start for a top team in Europe. And the weaker teams in Europe, the Belgium leagues, the Dutch leagues, the Scottish leagues, they're not going to want to pay the 6 or 7 million the Dynamo are going to want for him because
he probably won't.
22,
but
23.
He should be MLS Defender of the Year.
He should be in the conversation. I agree. He's very good, but I mean, I'm sure the Dynamo will give him a fat contract. He'll probably get like $600,000-$700,000 a year. No team in Europe's going to want to pay a transfer fee and match that type of contract, and he'll stay with the Dynamo for a long time. That's usually what happens in MLS with center backs.
Dang, that's a fat check.
It's a fat check, man.
Hey, Mikael, also donate if you get a fat check.
It'll be the Walker Zimmerman for the Dynamo.
Yeah, he'd be like Walker Zimmerman. Yeah. That's the reason Walker Zimmerman, Miles Robinson, these guys aren't in Europe. Because the MLS teams will overpay for them.
Yeah.
I mean, they worked out, right? I mean, Walker Zimmerman is probably one of the best center backs in the league. So,
and I think there's a higher chance of having Mikael and Barlow be your starters next year. I'll say that much. I could see them.
I don't think that's a high chance.
Yeah, you don't think that's a high chance? You don't think?
No, I think Sviatchenko's Perfectly
stays.
fine.
Eric will be around.
Eric will,
Yeah.
Eric will be around for a while.
He'll retire here.
We'll come back and circle
I don't think
around
Bartlow's
this
good enough.
contract stuff at the end of the
I
season.
think Bartlow's still too weak in the air.
I'm not saying that he's not better than Sviatchenko. I'm just talking,
Oh, no.
I don't know if they.
I think if Sviatchenko retires
Put a
or
pin on
leaves
that.
or whatever, they'll sign someone better.
Look, you see this what's it called? The cloud dot. Pin it.
Put a pin on it.
All right. Back to before this gets any longer. Toronto FC visiting Saturday. Should be a warm. You know what? I haven't even looked at what the weather's going to look like, but I'm going to say it's going to be hot.
Well, like 100. Yeah.
110 degrees and 65% humidity. Something stupid like that. But you guys
100%.
think the boys from the north come out here with their Italian bunch and get some points out of Shell Energy Stadium? Or what are we looking at, guys?
Joey said it earlier. Toronto's been a weird team.
They're weird. They're kind of just like really up and down. They've had like
I
runs
think they
where like
haven't. They haven't lost. Well, they've only lost to Miami since July.
It's
Insignia's healthy. I know. What's the guy's name?
Bernardeschi.
He's healthy.
I haven't played them in 5 years. It's crazy. 5 damn years.
Damn.
Yeah, Insigne or Bernardeschi is the one who might not be healthy, but Insigne is healthy.
I want to see an Italian do something, man. Bring it.
Yeah, they're kind of an interesting team. They also play like a weird shape as well, kind of like Vancouver does. Not as weird, but they play like that 3 at the back where they really push up those wingers or those wing backs with Larea, Bernardeschi. They got Henry Wingo in as well from Europe, who's pretty solid. I mean, then they kind of build in that midfield diamond, Longstaff, Osorio, and Insigne. And it's kind of hard to contest against, but I mean, outside of Insigne, they don't really have a goal threat. That's the thing. And it's
been really good for them too.
I don't know if I'd say he's been really good for them. He's been okay. He's got 6 goals. I mean, he's fine. 6 goals in 26 games. I wouldn't say he's been really good for them. And Bernardeschi's he's the threat. Insigne is the threat when he's healthy. He'll be healthy. So, I mean, I don't know. You keep one of those 2 guys quiet, just one of them if both of them play, if only one of them plays, and you're kind of chilling. Osorio's not scoring goals this year. I mean, that's usually his thing. He's the Canadian Aaron Ramsey, but he just hasn't been scoring goals much this year.
I'm just going to say Houston wins 3-0, and you'll see a couple goals from Ponce. I'll say that. And you know what?
Prediction. I don't know about 3-0. I think Toronto's too good to lose that much. They have a good foundation.
I can see it, man. I mean, the Dynamo have been playing very well. I mean, that game against Toluca was theirs. If it wasn't because the syndrome hit.
I would have said the same thing about RSL, though. I didn't think the Dynamo would beat them 3-0 either. So,
yeah, scoring in the first half. But Dustin, sorry, man. I know you're lagging a little bit. Go for it. Open mic for you, dude. Just whatever you want to talk about when it comes to this Toronto game.
I was just gonna say it's gonna be a close game. Probably, like, I could see this being one of those games that the Dynamo try to ugly up, and by ugly I mean like they just hold onto the ball and kind of just hold possession, try to get Toronto tired, because like you said, it's going to be 150 degrees and 99% humidity, and Toronto is not used to that as much. So I could see it being one of those ugly kind of drag it out games. If the Dynamo can score early, I could see them. Joey said Toronto, I don't think is a team that you would beat, but if the Dynamo can score early and kind of jump on them, I could see them kind of running away. If they're unable to score and it goes to halftime, I think it could be a tough second half. I'll say the Dynamo win like 1-0, but I could definitely see an ugly draw too.
Yeah, I mean, both of the games that Toronto has played, and I would say summer weather being both of them against Inter Miami, they've lost, and they've lost, by a big amount of goals on both of those games. So, um, yeah, I could see again the weather is a big factor. I mean, you could bring Toronto. What's the weather in Toronto right now? Maybe like 70 degrees. I mean, I'm sure it's not even close to what Houston is. I'll tell you that much. And that if you have a team like the Dynamo, as you mentioned, Dustin, just pass the ball around. That's all you need. Eventually, the other guys, yeah, 61 right now.
61, and it feels like 50.
Yeah,
That's
so
nice.
it's a big difference.
Oh
Yeah, I
no, it
would
feels like
love
59.
61 degrees right now would sound amazing here in Houston, but
Bro.
Yeah, in Toronto, the average every year, the high is about 80 a day, and the low is 64 in August.
there's no
Jeez.
way. Like if you're a person from Toronto and you move to Houston in the summer, you'll die. Like literally, you just die. Like you just you just faint to the side. That's how it happened. But
And then you get
I don't know.
cooked by the sun.
Yeah, I just feel good about this game and watch. I'm gonna be the one that jinxes, obviously.
The
And
Rudy curse.
it's been a while since we did a prediction article, so I guess we're back on it this week, Dustin. Um, but my prediction is going to be a big win. I just feel it. I feel like the game against Toluca left a really bad taste in the player's mouth. Obviously, nobody was in a great mood after the fact, as they shouldn't be in a great mood after the way that they went out. But yeah, I just kind of feel that way, man. But all right, guys, closing thoughts. Anybody want to add anything that we missed? Joey,
Um,
Dustin.
I didn't get my prediction. 2-1.
Oh, go for it.
2-1
Man.
win. That's what
All
I
right,
got for you.
2-1. 2-1.
3-1 for me. 3-1 for me. I think it's gonna be 2-1 the whole game, and then the Dynamo at the end get like one lucky
Yeah,
one.
well, Nally beating some guys at the end, some tired legs.
There
I
you
can
go.
see that.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, and
But
actually, if
it'd
you got
be a
if
tough
you
one.
got this far into the podcast, we'll have a set of tickets for that game against
Ooh.
Toronto. So we'll
What's the
probably
password?
password is get us to 2,500 followers on Twitter. That's the password.
Jesus.
So we're close. We're getting there. So let's get those numbers up, guys. Man, really appreciate all the support that you guys give us. Even if sometimes some people engage Joey on the crazy comments out there. But no, man, yeah, definitely we love all the support. Thanks for reading all the articles. Thanks for clicking on the website. Thanks for liking, retweeting, subscribing. Do all that. Goes a long way. Shout out to Ugly Guppy. We should be getting some gear sometime in a couple of days, so we're ready for the game against Toronto.
No
For
pressure.
the guys that would be there, and yeah, we'll hopefully take some stuff. Our guy, man, Jay Hurtado, always checking in from LA, man. Thanks for listening, dude. I appreciate, I will say this before we leave. Looking at all the stuff, where's my phone? From like, how Spotify, well, since this goes on Spotify, it tells you like where people are listening from. And I'm always like astonished of like the countries that we hear. And crazy is this mostly shows numbers for Spotify because I know that we have listeners that listen on Apple as well, big time. And just seeing like where these people are listening from is just incredible. Obviously, 90+% is the US. So yeah, obviously we rock the US. But then you have Canada, you have France,
Oui.
Swatini, Germany, United Kingdom, Mexico, Colombia, Brazil, Spain, Italy, Switzerland, Australia, Nigeria, Argentina, El Salvador, South Africa, Panama, Bolivia, Taiwan, Dominican Republic, India,
Jesus.
Algeria, the Netherlands, Uruguay, Costa Rica, Russia. Hey, we're popular in Russia, man. We're big in Russia. Belgium,
We're huge.
Japan, and Chile. I mean, that's pretty incredible. When I every now and then when I go through here, I feel
That's
like
crazy.
how crazy it is. And obviously we've gotten some feedback, especially from our guy out there in Swatini doing his thing, man. So we appreciate all the support. It gets us going for sure to try to keep the consistency of recording every week and everything that we do. So it's fun for us. It's even funner whenever we see all this interaction, man. But I am super grateful that you guys had the time. Dustin was able to stop in. Dago checking in from Houston. Bro, check this out. Yeah, you have here Alvin with me. You have Christian Putalias over there in Silly, Texas. You have Dustin in Lake City. And then you have Joey Chavala out in New Mexico. So this is the reason why we can't get together and just get
Dustin
together.
trying to figure it out.
He's throwing his
gang signs.
LC for Lake City. But yeah, no, so I mean, we really appreciate it. But Christian, man, tell the people how they can connect with us, brother.
Yes, sir. You can go to BayouCitySoccer.net. That's going to be the website. Go check out all the new articles, guys. A lot of good stuff. Go look at the stats for Bossy. Go look at, the Anali Aliyu saga. That was a round one. We'll see where round two holds. Just check us out on Bayou City Soccer on all the social media platforms. Don't forget to go to YouTube channel. Like us there. Leave a review if you haven't on the podcast, wherever you're listening to. It goes a long way. It helps us out, and it makes us feel better. So thank you, guys. Don't forget, check out uglyguppy.com. Anything that, printing needs that you may have, go hit them up. And yeah, thank you guys for rocking with us from anywhere in the world that you're watching.
Yeah.
Konnichiwa.
We're going to end it with Doug was saying he sold Denali 2 TVs at his job. Bro.
Oh, dang.
You gotta hook us up, though. Everybody here, we need an upgrade on something. Just ask us what, and we'll let you know, and you can hook us. But man, thanks again, Joey. Thanks again, Dustin, for joining us this week. We'll be back next week.
Talking about a win.
We'll see who joins. Yeah, exactly. Talking about a big win. And Dynamo 2 plays tomorrow, Wednesday, and they play on Sunday as well. So they'll actually have 2 games this week, and we'll get back on it next week, guys. So peace out. Don't forget to hold it down and keep it forever orange.